She didn't leave you because you were boring, or because your car wasn't new, your text got shorter, or you forgot the name of her favorite candle that night in October. She left because something inside her was already packing before you even met. You weren't rejected. You were caught in the crossfire of a woman battling her own heart. You were her calm, her soft place, and for someone used to chaos, that kind of peace can feel terrifying. I used to obsess over every detail, blaming myself and assuming her leaving was tied to some flaw I failed to fix, but the truth is, her departure had nothing to do with my lack and everything to do with what she couldn't give. She once told me I made her feel safe, and I took that as a compliment, not realizing that for some, safety doesn't feel like home. It feels like a trap. She was used to sharp edges, to love that hurt and healed in cycles, and when I came with stillness and presence, she didn't know where to put it. She ran not because I hurt her, but because I didn't. When all you've ever known are storms, clear skies feel suspicious. So when she walked away, it wasn't about being more or less. It was about her being unready. Stoicism teaches us that we are not responsible for the emotional debts of others. We are not redeemers of past pain or punishments for someone else's sins. You were a mirror, and she couldn't face the reflection. You showed her presence, and that demands accountability. The kind that says, I see you. And when someone isn't ready to be seen, they run. She didn't tell you the truth when she left. Instead, she said, it's not working, or I just need time. What she couldn't say, but what she meant, was that she didn't know how to receive the kind of love she'd always begged for, and learning how felt harder than simply walking away. So there you sat, staring at a blank screen, trying to write a message you'd never send, wondering where you went wrong. But it wasn't your fault. You were present, kind, curious, imperfect, sure, but real. And she didn't leave because of that realness. She left because she wasn't ready to meet you at that depth. That's the part most men never heal from. We confuse love with worth, so when someone leaves, we assume it means we weren't enough. But the truth is, her leaving spoke more to her unreadiness than your value. I remember wandering through a bookstore weeks after she left, passing books she once adored, breathing in the scent of pages that still reminded me of her. And I smiled, not because I wasn't still hurting, but because I finally understood. She didn't leave for someone else or something better. She left because peace feels foreign when your heart's used to chaos. I was too steady, too calm, too certain of her. And loving someone unsure of themselves is like loving a ghost, present, but always halfway out the door. That's what Stoicism teaches us, to love without losing our center, to give without pleading, to stand still while she spins. A Stoic man doesn't chase someone who needs to run. He watches, accepts, and returns to himself, not bitter, not broken, just clear. Because love doesn't always end with a villain. Sometimes it ends with two people walking through the same fire at different paces. She left because she was still searching for a battle, and you had finally learned that love doesn't have to be a war. It can be stillness. It can be safe. But she wasn't ready for that, and maybe she never will be. And that's okay, because the woman who's meant to stay won't be afraid of your stillness. She'll be drawn to it. She won't mistake your peace for boredom. She'll recognize it as strength. She won't shy away from your gaze when it sees too deeply. She'll meet it with her own, knowing she's finally safe. So if she left, let her. Let her choose chaos if that's what she needs right now. But don't follow. You were never meant to become a storm just to make someone else feel at home. You don't have to shrink yourself to keep anyone close. And above all, you're not here to bleed every time someone else can't hold the weight of your depth. Her leaving wasn't your failure. It was her fear. And you did something incredibly brave. You stayed soft in a world that keeps telling men to harden. So mourn if you must. Remember her. Let her name ache on your tongue one last time. Then close that chapter, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Because this was never your fault. One day, someone will come who isn't scared of your calm. Someone who sees your steadiness, not as pressure, but as safety. Someone who's danced with chaos and says, with you, I can finally rest. And in that moment, you'll understand why it never worked before. Not because they were wrong, but because they weren't ready. So stay soft. Stay grounded. Stay still. Not for them, but for you. Because the kind of love that's meant for you will never need to be chased.